Hi and welcome to my channel. I'm Simon and today I'm back with what is probably going to be quite a quick, I was going to say quick and nasty video, but just no, quite a quick video because it's such a grey afternoon. It's gone really dark and really dingy, which I don't mind because that appeals to part of my nature and the autumnal vibes and the gothic-y vibes around this time, but still it's not ideal for filming. So instead of bringing you my October book haul, which I was going to do today, I'm bringing you my Nonfiction November sort of unofficial TBR, but these are the books that I definitely kind of would like to pick out of. I have a lot of nonfiction now. I've got a whole set of shelves all the way down there brimming with books, so it could go right. And also I am quite a contrary fairy in the fact that as soon as I've created a TBR, I want to read anything but I have been mulling these books for a while and they will be going on to, oh, they were going to go on there. I'm running out of shelf space again. That's where I put all my gothic books. Anyway, we'll see. We'll work it all out. It'll all come together. It'll all be fine. So the books that I would really, really like to get to this Nonfiction November, because I have been dreadful this year at nonfiction. I'm just looking at my favourite books of the year. There isn't a nonfiction book there. I don't think I've read that many. I'd be amazed if I'd even read like 5. I would be really, really shocked. So I really need to sort that out. So I have, like I said, these 10 books here that I would like to pick from. Normally I choose 12. I don't know why I haven't this time, but I think actually I can spot another one that I would like to read, which is a Sarah Krasnostein essay collection, which if I pick up now will mean that loads of books fall over. And I don't want that. You don't want that. The books don't want that. So let's talk about these 10 and I can deviate throughout the month and I'll keep you posted. The first of them is Anna Funder's Starzyland, which I was kindly bought by my friend Maddie when we went book shopping together in Bristol on the Story Trails tour. It's my last few days of Story Trails, can you believe it? But I've left with some very, very lovely bookish friends. I was delighted to be bought a book because it does not happen very often, and also when it's somebody's, like, one of their favourite books, it makes it all the more exciting, unless of course I don't like it and then me and Maddie can never speak again. But this is Stories from Behind the Berlin Wall, and I have to say I studied World War One and World War Two a huge amount at school, and it really, really put me off reading fiction, let alone non-fiction, about that time, but I've heard these are amazing. Also, the author is Australian, and Maddie knows how much I love all things Australian, so I think it's going to be perfect. And I did read the first part of the book, like first couple of paragraphs, when I was with Maddie in the coffee shop afterwards, after we'd been book shopping, and I was like, actually, this sounds like it could be my kind of thing, so I'm excited for that. Then, this book I've been meaning to read for ages as well, a common theme with a lot of the non-fiction on my shelves, but this is a particularly poignant one for me, or I think it will be, because when I did a campaign with Ancestry.com, I found out all about my Romani heritage, which I literally did not know about, and so I wanted to find out more, and lots of people recommended this, which is The Stopping Places by Damian Labas, and I know that Jen really, really loved this, and I think she's given it to a few other people who really loved it. Mercedes really love it as well, and so I'm really, really intrigued for this. It's as a journey through Gypsy Britain, and yeah, I want to find out more because Fanny White, who was my great grandmother, who went, oh, possibly not that many greats, but who also went by the name of Queenie, the Gypsy fortune teller, is who I found out all about, and it was just very, very exciting. So yeah, intrigued for this one. Then we have one that then we've got one that I don't think I've seen a negative review of, and that has made me really, really, really keen to read it. And me and Melanie were going to do this for a book club, but we haven't done book club this year for all sorts of reasons, but hopefully it will come back in 2023. We were going to read Crying in H Mart by Michelle Zauner, aka Japanese Breakfast, and this is meant to just be utterly phenomenal, and I've been wanting to get to it for ages, and hopefully November will be the time. I feel like this could be a favourite book. I don't know quite why exactly, but I just do. Do you ever get that where you're not quite sure? There's something about a book and what you hear from lots of different people that makes you think, oh, that's going to be an absolute favourite. And speaking of favourites, the first of the hardbacks that I would like to get to is a book that I did start and just was travelling around too much and couldn't quite get into it or give it the time I felt it deserved, and that is Takeaway by Angela Hui, which is Stories from a Childhood Behind the Counter. And Angela's parents opened up a takeaway in Wales, and it looks at how the community reacted to that in a lot of different ways, some very uncomfortable. But as she's telling us the story and reflecting on that and her love for fast food, she also talks about the horrific situation with the disgusting abuse that Asian people have received because of the pandemic and people blaming them for it. And I think this is going to be incredibly funny, I think it's going to make my mouth water, but also be incredibly moving and important. So really, really, really excited for this one. As I am, I can't believe I've not read this yet because I love the author of this book. I love their poetry collection. I've had the pleasure of spending time with them and getting a tour of Trinity Trinity College Library, in Dublin with them. And it's Sean Hewitt, and this is All Down Darkness Wide, which is, I think, a memoir of sort of partly his relationship with his partner, but also his partner's depression. And so, yeah, I'm very, very, very intrigued for this one. Yeah, very, very intrigued. And actually, looking at the love between men in a different way is Michael Pedersen's Boyfriends. Again, another book that I've just heard raves about, and if it's got purple on it like that, I mean, it's going to probably be a favourite book. But I believe this is about Michael's friendship with, was it a man who, basically it says, ever feel like you were fated to be friends with someone, an alchemy in your meeting, instant fondness, part chemical, part kismet. This is how I felt about every friend I've fallen in love with, none so much as you. And I think that thing about friendship, I don't feel like it's written about enough. I know Elizabeth Day is currently working on a book about friendship, but friendship is that sort of thing that I find fascinating because I love my friends. I don't always feel like I'm the best friend I could be and would love to be a better one. But also there's that thing where I tend to have this thing with friends where I'm like, do they really like me? Is this what's going on? Do I like them more than they like me? Oh, it's just a whole thing. And I think that stems probably from being bullied at school and struggling to connect as I moved around a lot when I was a kid as well. But yeah, I think this is going to be really, really, really interesting, possibly quite heartbreaking and moving. But I need that. I think at the moment, I'm ready for that catharsis of kind of having something really moving to have on the go. Then we have I Want to Die, But I Want to Eat Tteokbokki. I hope I've said that right. If I've not, please correct me in the comments down below. I'm sure people will anyway. This is by Baek, Sehee, and it's translated by Anton, who I am mildly obsessed with on Instagram. I think he is hilarious and joyous, and I'm hoping to do something with him for Sky Arts Book Club Extra in the not too distant future, but I need to read a few of his translations first. But yeah, he's absolutely hilarious on Instagram, and I will try and remember to put a link to that down below because it just brings joy to my life and therefore I believe could bring joy to yours. But I believe this is I thought it was a novel, but it's an account of the author's relationship with her psychiatrist. And if you can see, it's kind of all done in like a script, like a dialogue between the two. That sounds fascinating. And I know Willow over at Books and Bow absolutely loved this. And that's just reminded me that they also loved Bad Gays. And I do have that. And that's another one that I would really, really, really like to get to. Have I got it in this pile? I don't think so. So count that one as like an 11th, plus the Sarah Krasnostein. We've got to 12. So yeah, but yeah, I'm really, really, really intrigued for this. Very excited, and it's going to just, I'm sure, increase my love of Anton. And speaking actually of Sky Arts Book Club Extra, which is the weekly show I present over on Sky Arts social media, I always link it down below. Please go and check it out because, and I know that I say this a lot, the more of you that are there, the more likelihood to get a series 4, and it's my favourite job in the entire world. So there we are. And I'm jobless technically, only for a couple of weeks. From Thursday, I'll be talking about my new job at some point. And actually, I want to do a video about what it is I do. Well, would you like that as a video? Because I think sometimes there's a perception that I've been doing YouTube for about 5 minutes and yet I managed to like go and do lots of other booky jobs. And actually, I've been creating content since 2017. I had a blog first and then moved to podcast and then this. And also, I don't get paid to just sit and read all day, which I think sometimes people think too. And it's not the case. I have to do project management and all sorts and get to present the telly, my very, very favourite job, which is not a career I ever thought I'd have. But yeah, if you'd like that, let me know in the comments down below. And if you've got any ideas as to how I could do it, let me know that too. I feel like there's something I was saying. Oh, yes. If you go to Sky Arts Book Club Extra, the one on Friday is going to be me talking about books that I would recommend for Nonfiction November, which is why I'm not doing recommendations here, just a TBR. Back to the TBR. The next book that I would really like to read is a book that I got imported from America. It is Dirtbag, Massachusetts, A Confessional by Isaac Fitzgerald, who I love, again, on Instagram. And isn't it interesting how you can kind of, there can be a certain vibe about different people's online personas that really can chime with you, and you just think, I would really like to sit down and have a good old night with you. I also have to say, he's incredibly handsome. I mean, it shouldn't be all about that, but I think that possibly adds to the charm for me. But yeah, I'm intrigued for this. I think he's had quite an interesting life, and there's so many great quotes on the back of this book, like from Marlon James, Minjin Lee, Emma Straub, Kaiser Lemon, Mira Jacobs, like so many. If I was doing, in fact, this could be a perfect way to start or do a telephone blurb. Yeah, blurb telephone blurb telephone, I think that's what it is. The wonderful Julie over at Lynn Librarian started. So yeah, anyway, there's that one. And then a book that I bought because I saw Lorraine Candy rave about this, who was one of the Women's Prize judges this year, is This Is Not a Pity Memoir by Abby Morgan. And I think this is going to really, really, really make me cry. It's about how Abby, her husband, had, I don't know, well, I could read it and then tell you. One morning in June, Abby had her to-do list to drop the kids to school, get coffee and go to work. Jacob had a bad headache, so she added pick up steroids. She returned home and found the man she loved had fought and laughed. She returned home and found the man that she loved and had fought and laughed with for 20 years lying on the bathroom floor, and nothing would ever be the same again because he can't really remember who she is. And what I love is that on the front it says this is not a pity memoir, and then when you take off the dust jacket, and I think this is some genius design work going on, it says it's a love story. And I think this will make me cry in like a happy ugly tears way. And as I said, I feel like I'm sort of in the mood for that as we head towards the end of the year. I mean, how is it November already? What's that all about? And then last but not least is a book that I am very excited about, because I always find like books where you are introduced to characters from history that you've never necessarily heard of before are like, I don't know, there's a bit of savage non-fiction catnip going on there. Yeah, I've made that a whole new genre. And Kate Moss's Warrior Queens and Quiet Revolutionaries, How Women Also Built the World, is one such book. But also, I think this is going to be fascinating because it also has a personal story for Kate about, I think it was her grandmother or maybe her great-grandmother, Lily, who was a novelist, as Kate is, but who had just kind of been erased from history for whatever reason. And yeah, I think that just sounds like it's going to be brilliant in the fact that it's going to have those two different strands to it and just be ace. Also, I got the signed independent bookshop edition, which has got the most amazing spreads. So there we go. Those are some of the books I would like to, well, there's a selection of books that I may pick from for Nonfiction November, because I really need to get my non-fiction reading like back up there. I don't know what's happened. I don't know if I've just been a bit too tired for it or what. I do find I need to be, with non-fiction, I feel like there's an extra concentration level. Not that I don't concentrate reading fiction before anyone decides to think that, but I don't know, there's just something else. It's a bit like on the radio. I can listen to it, well, it's the opposite of the radio. I really struggle, or audio, I really struggle with fiction on audio, but I blinking love non-fiction on audio. So maybe I'll head to a few of those non-fiction wise, they are non-fiction, Simon, on audio too. We shall see. But I would love to know in the comments down below, what have been your favourite non-fiction books of 2022 so far, because maybe post-November, because like any of these things, I always say this, I love these things like, you know, Nonfiction November, Women in Translation, LGBTQ month, History Month, Black History Month, but I think there's part of me that's like, I should be reading these all around the year and not just focus. I mean, I choose to use them more as reminders to do so, but then I don't always follow through, and I must get better. So yeah, I would love to know your favourite non-fiction books of the year, basically, so that I might switch to reading some of them in November, but also we'll read some of them in December, and maybe even make a reading vlog about reading some of them. We shall see. That's it for me today. I shall be back with my October book haul later on this week. Exciting, exciting. Well, I hope it's exciting for you all. I haven't filmed it yet, so maybe it'll be dull as dishwater, but I'll try not to let it be. But yeah, I hope you're all doing super duper well. Let me know your favourite non-fiction books in the comments down below, and if you want to see some books that I would recommend, head to the Sky Arts Book Club Facebook group, where you'll get a video from me on Friday recommending those. Also, there's a video tomorrow where I'm asking all of the people in that group a huge favour. I'll leave you on that teaser. I'll speak to you all soon. Bye.